is to come with it. And so the one thing that what I'm covering in today's session is called just because it's dormant doesn't mean it does not exist. When we all are, I'd say when we all look at ourselves and we look in the mirror or at some point in life, or we look at and we try to identify what is our desire. What do I want to do? We might identify that when we're in school, whether we see something there that we like, or it might be something that we might be watching on TV. But most of us, because of the way that our lives are constructed, we typically identify or try to find ourselves within some form of a job, some form of a career, and then we build ourselves and define ourselves of being something or lack thereof as a result of it. Now, I want you to think about it like this. When it comes to, and this isn't anything wrong when it comes to occupation. So this is never a matter of saying it's wrong to have an occupation. But I want you to ask yourself the question: was I born for this occupation? Did God bring me in this world? Did He birth me to fulfill this occupation, to work for the next 40 years and then retire and then just kind of relax for the rest of my life? And if you really think about that, it kind of doesn't make sense, does it? Because when I think about my job, why am I working my job? I'm working my job to make a living, to take care of my family, or just to be able to fulfill something that I feel that I need to fulfill to make me feel better in life. But when it comes down to it, and this is an association when we talk about as the gifts, the spirit and the soul that I had mentioned, all your gift and who you are is a signpost to what you are purposed to do. Now, most of us, when it comes to purpose, when we think, we really don't focus on it. And so we have this idea, we identify ourselves, or we will identify our purpose associated to some form of an occupation. And that could be so. But now sometimes it's not quite straight and narrow. And so what I'm getting at is, when it comes to purpose, I like to use the term, there's an entrepreneur in every single one of us. Now, when we hear the word entrepreneur, what do you think about? You think about a very wealthy businessman, someone that's created something that has changed the world in some form. And most of us will say, that's not me. I'm not that person. I'm the 9 to 5, W-2, 40 hours. I do great at what I do. That's not me. And so as a result, when the term entrepreneur comes out, we kind of write it off, or we're afraid of it, or we automatically begin to think, okay, I'm not really big into business. And so first, just like I had mentioned everything before in terms of what is and what it really is, the question I would like to ask, and I want you to think about, is, what is an entrepreneur? I've asked these questions many a times. Most people say, oh, an entrepreneur is a businessman. And then I say, well, then why is a businessman called a businessman? Oh, well, because they have different motivations. Okay, sort of, fair enough. But now I'm going to tell you what a definition of an entrepreneur is simply someone who sees a problem, finds or sees a problem, and creates a solution to that problem. Now, going back to that purpose, what you're purposed for is associated to a problem and fulfilling the solution to that problem. Think about that. And so when I could consider it in the sense of, we all have a seed inside of us. That gift that's a signpost to our calling is a seed that, if we plant that seed, that is going to direct us down a path to fulfill a purpose in life. Now, your job or jobs, however you would have it, may be associated to that purpose. But if we look at it from a matter that my purpose is bigger than just this job or these jobs, I can recognize that there's a growth, there's something bigger than this, to where at the end of the day, at the end of all the days, I can now stand before the Most High and say, where He can say, good or fair